YouTube. My name's HK858, and I want to talk about some removal cards I can see making it into standard and or modern. I do have a video based on some ideas of how to get these cards into modern outside of just going through standard. So this first few, I'm going to just brief over these: artifact and enchantment removal. It'd be kind of cool just to see these just to be toolboxed into modern sideboards, maybe some in the actual main board, just to deal with certain strategy decks. And I can see, actually, to be honest, I can see all of these going through. I don't know if they'll ever do buyback again. I haven't researched that part of it, but outside of that, yeah, I don't see buyback or Shattering Pulse being too major in modern, standard. Probably won't ever be seen playing in modern, but it'd be kind of cool to see all these go through standard. These ones I could see going through standard, especially the aura and artifact mutations. So yeah, that's what I said. These ones I'm just going to brief over. These ones I will kind of brief over too. I could see these going through standard, maybe even going into one of the strategies I thought of to make it into modern. A lot of people are. I've seen a lot of talk about having Innocent Blood come into modern to maybe change up some decks. Would that one be too powerful? Maybe, maybe not. Curfew may or may not, because Curfew doesn't permanently remove the card; just puts the players back a turn. So that card may start that along with Vapor Snag, Unsummon, Boomerang, and I have Nowhere. I think it would make some sort of crazy slow you down while I build up momentum to do whatever. A lot of Turbo Fog type decks do similar stuff. Some Turbo Fogs. Outside that, would they be played much? Probably not. Simplify would be great to see come into a standard setting for any future enchantment enchantment formats. So this one, like I said, I'm going to brief over some of these because they're all fairly similar. These three deal with flyers. Tropical Storm also deals 1 damage to each blue creature, which can be very viable. But, I'd like to see green get some more removal. I know it's not a hyper removal color outside of maybe making creatures fight and destroying flying creatures, but hey, if you can find a way of making your opponent's creatures fly and then whirlwind them away, go for it. But like I said, these ones won't be much, but I just wanted to talk briefly of these. Pillage is another one I'm just going to talk briefly. It's just a Stone Rain with a added effect of destroying an artifact. This one may or may not make land destruction decks viable. So let's see what players can do with it. And if this is one of those cards I can see maybe not making it into modern, because no one likes land destruction, and I have to agree. I don't like it unless I'm playing it, but that's my opinion on that. Disorder, kind of a one-sided Pyroclasm, but it also deals 2 damage to the player who controls a white creature. Against certain decks, this would be better than Pyroclasm. In certain decks that splash red or run red. So, hey, why not? Ravenous Baboons comes into play, destroys a non-basic land. For a format that has a lot of non-basic lands, this might make it viable. I will see this can be an easy color shift to maybe uncommon. Oh yeah, definitely uncommon, not common. I don't think no one wants to see this in Pauper. But outside of that, it's a body that kills a non-basic land. Is it impactful? Probably not. There are a lot of better 4-mana spots out there. But hey, budget builders, anyone that wants to try to build around it, why not? Jilt is another one. This one I can definitely see going to standard. It's not too impactful. It's 2 mana to bounce a creature and 2 mana to shock a creature if you kick it. That's if Kicker comes back into standard. So hey, great card to reprint for a Kicker. Definitely more standard viable than modern. These 3 cards would be really cool to see in modern. as like a one-of in a deck, especially the 2 black ones, Ash to Ashes or Reckless Spite. They'd be a little too powerful to... You kill 2 creatures, but you have to take 5 life to do that, which sometimes it's a lot better than other times. Sometimes it's these are sad cards. Would they impact Modern in a different way? They might. Like I said, there'll be one-ofs. Dust to Dust I could see being more ran than the other 2, because they just exile 2 artifacts from the game, and height your set. Against Affinity, even though it's sorcery speed, it still takes 2 out for 3. Instead of 2 mana for 1, you pay 1 more and you get 2. Grip of Phreesis, however you pronounce it. I like the idea of this card being in Modern, especially if they ever unban Stoneforge Mystic. This would be a good counter towards it, and some decks that splash or run blue to, I'm going to steal your your best artifact or best equipment. I'm going to steal a sword, like maybe not Body of Mine, but like Fire Knights. I steal your Fire Knights. Now I got a good creature on my side. Steal whatever sword, Greaves, whatever, steal whatever equipment that comes viable outside of the right now the equipment deck that loves to just combo off and storm off. I don't like that. I would like to try playing that deck, but at the same time, I just don't like seeing that type of deck. I want to see actual equipment type strategies, which I say it'd be nice to see Stoneforge Mystic be unbanned, and then you run this in, and you kind of got a good way to at least slow that down. Outside of the fact that ton of equipment is easily taken care of by a lot of removal. Attrition, I don't know where this would go currently, but maybe it may make a new style of sacrifice deck, and like you sack a creature and you get another creature out of some other source, and you just start destroying non-black creatures. And it is slow because it's 3 mana. It's an enchantment, so all someone has to do is destroy it, and you can only get so many effects out of it. Pestilence, there's a red version. I can see this one being more ran in Modern than the red color shifted version. But yeah, let's see this one come into Modern. See what strategies build around it. I can see it maybe being a 1 or a 2 of in a mono black Devotion, because it can deal with token strategies, and it could be that little extra reach to kill off a player. So I could definitely see this one making at least a mono black Devotion, or any sort of black control strategy as at least a 1 or 2 of. Withdraw, double on summon unless they pay an extra 1. But outside of that, right, it'd be basically a boomerang for creature if they pay the 1. So it'd be kind of cool to see a 2-for-1 withdraw. Keep it common. Just this one I can beg to differ to see it come into Standard. Would it be impactful? It might. It'd be pretty much used a lot, but hey, new players would love to play with some of these older cards. It'd be kind of cool to see this, and then they see someone else in the tournament floor or the game store floor play the older version, and they're like, "Whoa, that's an older card." So hey, why not? Oblation. This one's an interesting one. It works as removal if you give the opponent 2 cards. However, this one could also be a strategy to shuffle any non-land permanents you own just to draw 2 cards, to be a white divination. That's one of the main reasons why I want to see this in Modern. Yes, it works as a removal at instant speed, but it also works as a divination for you if you have something you want to just put back in your library to play later. So it's a good trade. Another one similar to it is Chaos Warp. It's the red version, I would say. I could say that. I can kind of see that. The white and the red. Shuffles it in and reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent, puts it in the battlefield. This one would be kind of an interesting, chaotic card to see as a removal, as well as another strategy around it, or built around it. So hey, let's throw this one in. Darksteel Mutation, great way to shut down, turn some of your cheap some of your cheap stuff into a great blocker, or to shut down some creature strategies for white, as well as it's an enchantment aura. So any sort of green-white or white enchantment deck could probably pick this up and use it as a removal, or maybe put it on one of their guys, and then it's indestructible, and then they start enchanting that creature. So it has multiple uses. So I can easily see that one coming into Modern. Merciless Eviction, or Malicious Affliction. 2 black, Morbid. Basically, it destroys a non-black creature. So it's a Doomblade right off the bat, except it's double black. And then if a creature dies this turn, you may copy it. So if you're on turn 3, and you Fatal Push a creature, and you have 2 more black mana, you can kill 2 more. So that's epic. This is like way better than the 1 black, -1/-1, and then it gives -13, -13. Try to think of the name. But yeah, this is a great card to see in Modern. It'd be a great removal. It has to work around a strategy, and it would also be more in heavy black decks, but it'd still be a great card. Nonetheless, it would take place in Doomblade's spot in any black deck. So if they're sideboarding they have 2 Doomblades sideboard these 2 in instead. That would be a great card to see in Modern. And this one, I don't see it really going too good in Standard. It might, but it would be more of find another way to putting it into Modern. Flametongue Kavu, 4 mana for a 4/2, deals 4 damage to a creature. Come on, guys. I don't know why this isn't even in Modern. This would be kind of cool to see in Modern. I don't know what decks it would go in, because if this is the only card that comes out, it kills itself. If it said target creature your opponent controls, hey, all for it. But, 4 mana, 4/2. It's kind of meh on part, but hey, that'd be kind of cool to see it come in. It'd be kind of cool to see this go into Standard. But then this would definitely be played 100% 4 of all the time in a creature-heavy strategy. Consume Strength. This one is one of those ones I can see going to Standard easily. 3 mana. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Another target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Let's see this in Modern, Standard. This one can easily just go to Standard. Modern, it may not make it, but at the same time, added as effect of removing a creature or doing a combat strategy where it kills a creature. Hey, it would be interesting. A lot of combat strategies just don't work well in constructed formats, but this one, it could be, especially since you pump up and you kill their only blocker and you go in for the win. Has its uses. And that's the last card on our list. So what do you guys think of the removal? Did I miss any removal? If you want to make your own video on removal cards that can come into Modern or even come into Standard as, to help support certain decks or take down certain decks, hey, put them in, either make a video on them or put them in the comments below. But this is HK858, and I'll talk to you later.